My name is Sophia Smith and I'm 34 years old. Tell me, have you ever been erased from your own family's story? Last week at my father's retirement gala, the grand finale of his 30-year career as headmaster of one of the most prestigious schools in the state, I was escorted away from the VIP table right in front of 200 guests. Not because I caused a scene, not because I was late, but because being an elementary school teacher was apparently an embarrassment to the Smith family. Meanwhile, my father's stepdaughter, Leah Langford, a corporate attorney, sat proudly in my chair, taking my place and the position that was once promised to me on the $6 million Smith Scholars Foundation. I stood there shaking, humiliated beyond words. But what happened next, when my quiet, humble husband, Ethan Cole, rose from his seat and walked toward that microphone, the entire ballroom fell silent. In less than 60 seconds, his revelation changed everything. My father's face, the gasp of the crowd, and my stepmother's champagne glass shattering against the marble floor. I will never forget that moment. If you're watching this, take a second to subscribe and tell me where you're watching from. I'd love to know. Have you ever been rejected by your own family for not being successful enough? Now then, let me take you back to that night. The crystal ballroom at the Riverside Grand Hotel shimmered with self-importance. Golden light poured from chandeliers, dancing across ivory linen tablecloths and centerpieces of white orchids. Each bouquet probably cost more than my entire week's groceries. This wasn't just a retirement party. It was the farewell celebration for Dr. Gregory Smith, and he made sure every influential name in education was there to witness it. My husband, Ethan Cole, and I arrived 15 minutes late thanks to an unexpected traffic jam on the interstate. I slowed my steps, adjusting the hem of my navy blue dress, the nicest one I owned, bought 3 years ago for a teaching award ceremony. Ethan looked effortlessly handsome in his simple black suit, though I noticed he was checking his phone a little more often than usual. "Everything okay?" I whispered as we stepped into the ballroom. "Just some last-minute details," he said softly, squeezing my hand. "Nothing to worry about." The room buzzed with chatter. Over 200 guests, board members, school principals, major donors, even reporters from the State Education Journal. A photographer hovered near the stage beneath a massive banner that read, "Congratulations, Dr. Gregory Smith, 30 years of excellence in education." My father stood near the entrance dressed in a charcoal Tom Ford suit, a suit that probably cost more than 3 months of my teaching salary. Beside him sparkled Victoria Langford Smith, his wife of 4 years, in a gold sequin gown, her diamond necklace catching the light with every rehearsed laugh. They looked like they belonged on the cover of a magazine. "Ah, you made it," my father boomed when he spotted us, but his smile never reached his eyes. "Of course," I said, "I wouldn't miss your big night." Victoria's gaze swept over my navy dress and that faint practice smile faltered, just enough for me to see the disappointment she tried to hide. "It's good you made it," my father said smoothly. "Layla has been here for over an hour already networking with the board members." Layla Langford, Victoria's daughter, the successful one. "The traffic was on me," I offered quietly. "No excuse, really," Victoria's voice cut in like silk. "Let's get you to your table, dear." As we moved through the crowd, I noticed a local news crew setting up cameras near the stage. Whatever announcement my father planned tonight, he wanted it documented. Ethan's phone buzzed again. He glanced down, unreadable. Something felt different tonight, the way Victoria kept smiling too long, the way my father avoided my eyes, and the way Ethan held his phone tight close like he was waiting for something. I just didn't know I was about to be erased from my own family's story. At the VIP table, the name cards glittered like tiny verdicts. I scanned them once, then twice, then a third time, my stomach sinking lower with each pass. Mr. Gregory Smith, Victoria Langford Smith, Leah Langford, Daniel Brennan, major donors, board members, but no Sophia Smith. "There must be some kind of mistake," I said softly, trying to keep my voice even. Victoria appeared beside me, her smile sharp as crystal. "Oh, didn't Gregory tell you? We had to make a few last-minute adjustments. Space was limited, you understand?" I glanced at the table. 8 chairs, 7 name cards, 1 empty seat right beside Leah Langford. Her manicured hand rested gracefully on the chair as she laughed with Daniel Brennan, the chairman of the Smith Scholars Foundation. "But I'm his daughter," I whispered. "Of course you are, dear," Victoria replied smoothly. "You'll be at table 12 right over there." She gestured toward the back of the ballroom, half hidden behind a decorative column next to the teachers from the district. "Isn't that perfect? You'll have so much in common to talk about." Beside me, Ethan's jaw tightened. "This is her father's retirement dinner," he said quietly. "And we're so glad you both could make it," Victoria replied without missing a beat, turning away before I could answer. "Leah, darling, tell Mr. Brennan about your latest case." Leah looked up, flashing that perfectly practiced smile. "Oh, Sophia, I didn't see you there." Her eyes flicked down, lingering just long enough on my 3-year-old navy dress. "Are you comfortable back there?" Victoria's voice carried easily across the table. She was telling everyone how Leia had just been promoted, the youngest senior associate in her firm's history. Every word was perfectly placed, a dagger wrapped in politeness. I stood there staring at the name cards, watching my own name disappear from that table like it was some kind of prophecy. Then my father approached, adjusting his tie as if nothing had happened. "Dad," I whispered, "why am I not sitting with you?" He shifted uncomfortably. "Victoria thought it might be better for networking," he said. "If Leia connects with the right people, it could help the foundation. You understand, right? It's just business. Just business." My father had turned erasing me into a corporate decision. Beside me, Ethan stepped forward, his voice calm but unshakable. "And exactly where is Sophia supposed to sit?" "Table 12 will be fine," my father replied, still avoiding my eyes. "There are plenty of distinguished educators there." Distinguished educators, code for not important enough to sit at the front. Leia's laughter rang out clear and effortless as she leaned toward Daniel Brennan, discussing corporate grants and board funding. She was sitting in my chair, living my moment, and everyone seemed perfectly fine with it. Ethan's phone buzzed again. He glanced at it and something flickered across his face. Was that satisfaction? "Come on," I whispered, tugging at his hand. "Let's just go to table 12. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I'd just been demoted within my own family's hierarchy. Table 12 wasn't a seat, it was exile. As we made our way across the ballroom, Victoria's voice carried over the classical music, each word perfectly aimed for maximum impact. "This is Leia, my daughter," she announced to a cluster of donors. "Senior attorney at Henderson and Kamia Law Group. She just won a multi-million-dollar case for the Peterson Foundation." A pause, then lightly, almost as an afterthought, "And that's Sophia, Robert's daughter, heading toward the back. She teaches elementary school at Lakeside Public." The way she said public school, it sounded like a diagnosis. Ethan's hand found mine under the polyester tablecloth of table 12, so far removed from the silk and linen of the VIPs. Around us sat 5 other teachers, each in their best clothes, each wearing the same polite discomfort, like we all knew exactly what kind of seats we'd been given tonight. "Third grade, right?" asked Mrs. Lopez, a middle school math teacher. "I heard you won Teacher of the Year last year." "I did," I said quietly, forcing a smile, "but tonight that feels like a lifetime ago." "Wonderful," Mrs. Lopez said kindly. But we both heard the truth behind her words. Wonderful doesn't get you a VIP seat. Across the ballroom, Leia's confident voice rose above the music. She was discussing international tax law with someone from the mayor's office, each sentence polished and precise like she'd been rehearsing her success for years. Every few minutes, Victoria gestured toward her daughter, making sure everyone within earshot knew, "That's my child, the successful one." My father moved from group to group, and I started counting, 12 introductions. 15 minutes all for Leia. He passed our table twice and never stopped. Ethan's hand tightened around mine, his phone lit up again, a message flashed, "Confirmed, ready when you are." "What's that?" I whispered. "Just work," he said. But there was something in his tone I couldn't read. "You okay?" I asked quietly. "I'm fine." He wasn't lying, but he wasn't calm either. His brown eyes met mine, steady, warm, and for a moment I felt anchored, even here, even now. Then another burst of laughter echoed from the VIP table, bright, polished, practiced. The sound of people who would never know what it feels like to be invisible. From across the room, I could hear Victoria talking to someone about Leia's Harvard law degree, loud enough for our entire corner to hear. "She's accomplished so much," she said proudly. "It takes real ambition to reach those heights. Not everyone has that kind of drive, certainly not teachers who spend their days teaching 8-year-olds to read." Her words floated through the ballroom like perfume laced with poison. Mrs. Lopez leaned closer, whispering softly, "Family can be complicated." I nodded, staring across the room. My father was smiling at Leia as she showed him something on her phone, probably her latest press feature. Meanwhile, in my desk drawer back at Lakeside Elementary, I had 28 handmade thank you cards from my students. But those didn't open doors, they didn't make headlines, they didn't earn you a seat at the VIP table. Ethan was typing something quickly on his phone, his brow tight. "Hey," I murmured, "whatever you're doing, don't, it's not worth it." He kissed my temple. "You're always worth it," he said quietly. Then the lights dimmed. My father stepped onto the stage, tapping the microphone with the same authority I grew up admiring. 200 faces turned toward him. The photographer stepped closer, ready for the perfect shot. "Thank you all for being here tonight," my father began, his voice steady and practiced, the voice of the headmaster I once wanted to be proud of me. "As I close this chapter of my career," he continued, "I am deeply grateful." He began with the usual list of thank yous. The school board, fellow principals, major sponsors. Then came the personal part. My heartbeat quickened. "I've been blessed with a wonderful family," he said, gesturing toward the VIP table. "My beautiful wife, Victoria, who's been my rock for the past 4 years, and tonight I'm especially proud to have Leia Langford here, Victoria's daughter, whom I've come to love as my own." The words hit like ice water. Leah was recently promoted to senior associate at Henderson and Comedy Law Group, the youngest in the firm's history. Harvard Law, summa cum laude, she represents everything education should aspire to produce. Ambition, excellence, and the drive to reach the very top. Thunderous applause followed. Leah stood, waving graciously, her designer gown catching every glint of light as the photographer captured the moment again and again. I waited. Surely now he'd say something about family, something about me, but he moved straight on to thanking the catering staff. That was it. His other daughter, the one who had followed in his footsteps, who had dedicated her life to teaching, didn't even warrant a mention. 30 years in education, and he couldn't celebrate the daughter who became a teacher.